West Africa was a land of great kingdoms long ago. Before the Mali Empire rose, the Ghana Empire was very powerful. Ghana became rich because it controlled the trade of gold and salt. However, over time, Ghana's strength began to weaken. As Ghana's power faded, new groups started to become stronger. One of these groups would eventually form the Mali Empire. This new empire was destined to become even larger and more famous than Ghana. It signaled the beginning of a new and exciting chapter for West Africa. The Mali Empire started to form in the 13th century. It began as a small kingdom of the Mandinka people, known as Kangaba. The Mandinka people were known for their strength and their determination. They lived in the lands south of where the old Ghana Empire had once ruled. Their leader was a man named Sundiata Keita. Sundiata was a great warrior and a skilled leader. He had a vision to unite many different groups of people. This unification was the very beginning of something truly significant. A new and powerful empire was slowly taking shape in the heart of West Africa. The name Mali means where the king lives. It can also mean hippopotamus. The hippopotamus was a powerful animal. It was a symbol of strength for the Mandinka people. The Mali Empire grew and expanded along the banks of the Great Niger River. This river was incredibly important for the people and the empire. It provided fresh water, which was essential for farming and growing food. The river also served as a natural highway. It was used for trade and for travel across the vast lands. The Niger River helped the Mali Empire to grow strong and prosperous. The story of the Mali Empire is a fascinating one. It is a story filled with courage and bravery. It is also a story of great vision and unbelievable wealth. The Mali Empire grew to become one of the largest empires in all of West African history. Its fame and reputation spread to distant lands. People in Europe and the Middle East heard tales of Mali. They heard about its incredibly powerful kings. They also heard amazing stories about its vast reserves of gold. Let us now journey back in time to explore this amazing and influential empire. Sundiata Keita is widely celebrated as the great hero of the Mali Empire. His incredible life story is told in a famous epic poem. This poem is known around the world as the Epic of Sundiata. The epic tells the tale of his difficult early years. It is said that as a child, Sundiata was unable to walk. Despite this challenge, he grew up to become a strong and powerful young man. He was a prince who was believed to have a great destiny. His destiny was to free his people from oppression and unite them. During Sundiata's youth, the Soso king, Soumaoro Kante, was a cruel and tyrannical ruler. He had conquered the Mandinka lands and ruled them with fear. Soumaoro was not just a powerful king, he was also said to possess magical powers. This made him a truly fearsome and formidable enemy. Sundiata knew he had to confront Soumaoro to save his people, so Sundiata began to gather allies. He brought together warriors from different Mandinka clans. They all prepared for a great and decisive battle. Many people believed in Sundiata's leadership and his just cause. The Battle of Kirina took place around the year 1235. This battle was a major turning point in the history of Mali. Sundiata and his loyal forces fought with great courage and skill. They managed to defeat Soumaoro Kante and his army. This important victory marked the official birth of the Mali Empire. Sundiata Keita became the first Mansa, which means King of Kings. He became a powerful symbol of hope, freedom and unity. He successfully brought many different groups of people together under his rule, creating a strong foundation. Sundiata Keita was much more than just a successful warrior. He was also recognized as a very wise and capable ruler. After his victory, he set up a strong and efficient government. He carefully organized the new empire into different provinces. This made it easier to manage the vast territory. He actively promoted agriculture, helping his people to grow more food. He also encouraged trade, which brought wealth to the empire. Sundiata established Niani as the capital city of Mali. Niani soon grew into a busy and prosperous center. Sundiata truly laid the groundwork for Mali's future greatness and success. The Mali Empire reached its highest point of power and influence under Mansa Musa. He ruled the empire from the year 1312 to 1337. This period is often called Mali's Golden Age. Mansa Musa was the grandnephew of the empire's founder, Sundiata Keita. He was a devout Muslim dedicated to his faith. He became famous throughout the world for his incredible wealth and his great generosity. Historians believe he was one of the richest people who ever lived. His name became legendary far beyond the borders of Africa. Mansa Musa is most famous for his remarkable Hajj. The Hajj is a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca. He undertook this journey in the years 1324 to 1325. He did not travel alone. He traveled with an enormous caravan of people. Thousands of soldiers, officials, and ordinary civilians accompanied him on this long journey. He also took a great many camels with him. These camels were loaded with vast quantities of gold. He wanted to show the world the immense wealth and power of the Mali Empire. This journey was an incredible display. During his long journey to Mecca, Mansa Musa gave away huge amounts of gold. He distributed it generously to the poor people he met along the way. He also gave valuable gifts of gold to the rulers of the cities he visited. When he passed through Cairo in Egypt, he gave away so much gold. The records showed that the price of gold in Egypt actually dropped significantly. It stayed low for many years after his visit. This event clearly demonstrated the unbelievable scale of Mali's wealth to the wider world. People were truly amazed by his generosity and the riches he commanded. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage had a very big and lasting impact. It brought the Mali Empire to the serious attention of people in Europe and the Middle East. Cartographers, who were mapmakers, began to include Mali on their maps of the world. They often drew Mansa Musa on these maps holding a large nugget of gold. When Mansa Musa returned to Mali, he brought back scholars and talented architects. These skilled individuals helped him to further develop his empire. He commissioned the building of many beautiful mosques and important schools throughout his lands, especially in Timbuktu. Timbuktu was a very special and important city within the Mali Empire. It was strategically located near the Niger River in the Sahara Desert. Over time, Timbuktu became a world-famous center for learning and for trade. Scholars and students from all over the Muslim world traveled to Timbuktu. They came to study various subjects and to share their knowledge by teaching. The city was particularly known for its impressive universities. The Sankore University, also known as the University of Sankore, was especially famous for its high level of scholarship. Under the rule of Mansa Musa and the Mansas who came after him, Timbuktu flourished. Several grand mosques were constructed in the city. These included the Jingwereber Mosque, the Sankore Mosque, and the Sidi Yahya Mosque. These buildings were not just places for people to worship, they also served as important centers of education and intellectual activity. Students at these centers studied a wide range of subjects. They learned about Islamic theology, law, mathematics, and astronomy. They also studied medicine, geography, and history. Books were highly valued and sought after in Timbuktu. The libraries of Timbuktu were legendary across Africa and the Middle East. These libraries contained thousands of precious manuscripts. These books were all written by hand. They were often beautifully decorated with intricate designs and calligraphy. Skilled scribes worked diligently to copy important texts from various fields of study. This careful work helped to preserve valuable knowledge for future generations. The trade in books was a very profitable business in Timbuktu. Learning and scholarship were seen as extremely important by the city's inhabitants. Many people in Timbuktu could read and write. Timbuktu was also a very cosmopolitan and diverse city. People from many different cultures and backgrounds lived there together. Arabs, Berbers, and people from various West African groups all mixed in Timbuktu. This mixing of cultures created a lively and vibrant cultural atmosphere. New ideas were exchanged freely among scholars and merchants. The city of Timbuktu became a powerful symbol of the Mali Empire's intellectual and cultural achievements. Its reputation for wisdom and learning spread far and wide. It was truly considered a jewel of the desert, a beacon of knowledge. Section 5. The Engine of Wealth Trans-Saharan Trade Routes. So, the great wealth of the Mali Empire, it came primarily from trade. The empire, it controlled several very important trans-Saharan trade routes. These ancient routes, they stretched across the vast and challenging Sahara Desert. Large caravans of camels, they regularly traveled these difficult routes. They carried a variety of goods between West Africa and North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. Now, this trade across the desert, it was often dangerous. However, it was also extremely profitable for those who participated in it. This trade system, it had existed for many centuries before Mali's rise. Mali, it possessed very rich gold mines within its territory. Gold was its most valuable and sought-after export. People in North Africa and Europe, they had a strong desire for West African gold. In return for its gold, Mali traded for salt. Salt, you see, was an extremely important commodity in West Africa. It was used to preserve food, especially meat, in the hot climate. Salt was also essential for human health. The salt, it came from mines located in the Sahara Desert. At times, salt was considered to be as valuable as gold in some parts of West Africa. Besides gold and salt, many other types of goods were traded along these routes. The Mali Empire also exported slaves, who were often captives from wars. They exported kola nuts, which were popular as a stimulant. Ivory from elephants was another valuable export. Mali imported various goods from the north. These included fine cloth, strong horses for their cavalry, and copper. They also imported manufactured items like tools and weapons. The Mansis of Mali, they understood the importance of this trade. They worked to protect the trade routes. They ensured the safety of merchants traveling through their lands. This security, it helped trade to flourish, and taxes on this trade made the empire very rich. The control of these vital trade routes, well, it was absolutely key to Mali's power and prosperity. Several cities within the empire, they grew very wealthy as a result. Cities like Timbuktu, Gao, and Jenne became major commercial centers. The markets in these cities, they were always busy and vibrant places. Merchants from many different lands gathered there to buy and sell goods. The economic success of the Mali Empire, it was legendary in its time. This wealth, it allowed the Mansis to build and maintain large armies. It also enabled them to construct magnificent cities and impressive mosques, showcasing their power. Section 6. Life in the Empire, Society and Daily Routines. The society of the Mali Empire was well organized and had a clear structure. There were different levels or classes of people. The Mansa, or king, was at the very top of this structure. He held great power and authority over all his subjects. Below the Mansa were the nobles and the royal officials. These individuals helped the Mansa to govern the vast empire. Then came the class of free people. This large group included merchants, farmers, artisans, and skilled workers. At the bottom of the social structure were the slaves. Slaves were often people who had been captured during wars with neighboring regions. The majority of people living in the Mali Empire were farmers. They worked hard on the land to grow crops. The main crops they cultivated included millet, sorghum, and rice. These grains formed the basis of their diet. Most farmers lived in small villages scattered across the countryside. Their lives generally followed the natural rhythm of the seasons. They focused on planting their crops at the right time and harvesting them when they were ready. The Niger River was vital for agriculture in many areas. It provided the water needed for irrigation, especially during the dry season. Family and community ties were very important in village life. People often worked together to achieve common goals. Religion played a significant role in the daily lives of people in the Mali Empire. Islam was the main religion of the rulers, the nobles, and many of the traders. A large number of people living in the cities like Timbuktu and Niani were Muslims. However, traditional African beliefs and practices remained strong, especially in rural areas. Many people in Mali combined Islamic teachings with their older traditional customs. Mansa Musa actively encouraged the spread of Islam throughout his empire. He financed the building of mosques and supported Islamic scholars and teachers. This led to a unique and interesting blend of cultures and religious practices. Justice was considered very important in the Mali Empire. The Mansas were known for their efforts to maintain peace and order throughout their lands. Travelers who visited the empire during its peak often reported that it was a very safe place. They noted that people had a strong respect for the law. Ibn Battuta, a famous traveler and scholar from Morocco, visited Mali in the 14th century. He wrote about his experiences and was particularly impressed by the fairness of the justice system. This stability and sense of security helped the empire to thrive for a long time. People generally felt safe and secure in their daily lives. Section 7. Art, Architecture, and Oral Traditions. The Mali Empire possessed a rich and vibrant artistic heritage. Artists in Mali created beautiful sculptures. They often worked with materials like wood and terracotta, which is a type of clay. They also crafted intricate and stunning jewelry from gold and other precious metals. Music was another very important part of life in the empire. Griots, who were also known as Jalis, were highly respected storytellers, musicians, and oral historians. They played traditional instruments such as the kora, a stringed instrument, and the balafon, a type of xylophone. Their songs and stories preserved the history and culture of their people. Malian architecture had its own distinctive style. It was often characterized by the use of mud brick, also known as adobe. This architectural style is sometimes called Sudano-Sahelian architecture. The Great Mosque of Jannah is a very famous example of this style. Although the current structure was rebuilt in the 20th century, it follows the traditional design. When Mansa Musa returned from his pilgrimage to Mecca, he brought skilled architects with him from the Middle East and Egypt. These architects helped to design and construct impressive mosques and palaces in Timbuktu, Gao, and other important cities within the empire. Oral traditions were absolutely central to Malian culture and the preservation of knowledge. Griots were the official keepers of history. They had incredible memories. They memorized long and complex epic poems, as well as the genealogies of important families and rulers. They passed down these stories and historical accounts from one generation to the next through spoken word. The Epic of Sundiata is the most famous and important example of this tradition. It tells the heroic story of the empire's founder. These oral histories taught important values and kept the memory of the past alive. They were a vital part of education and cultural identity. Textiles were also a significant art form in the Mali Empire. Talented weavers created beautiful and colorful fabrics. These fabrics often featured intricate patterns that had symbolic meanings. Pottery and metalwork were also highly developed crafts among the people of Mali. These various artistic expressions reflected the beliefs, values, and daily lives of the people. Art was not created just for decoration in Mali. It was an integral part of their culture and their identity. It connected them to their ancestors and to their community. These traditions continue to influence art in the region today. Section 8. The Seeds of Decline. Internal Strife and External Threats. After the reign of the great Mansa Musa, the Mali Empire began a period of slow decline. The Mansas who succeeded him were not always as strong or as wise as he had been. This led to problems within the empire. There were often disputes and conflicts over who should become the next Mansa. These internal power struggles weakened the central government of the empire. As a result, powerful local leaders in different parts of the empire began to challenge the authority of the Mansa. The unity that Sundiata Keita had worked so hard to build started to unravel. This internal weakness made the empire more vulnerable to outside forces. External threats to the Mali Empire also began to grow during this period. The Mossi people, who lived to the south of Mali, started to conduct raids. They attacked important trading cities including Timbuktu, causing disruption and damage. To the north, Tuareg nomads from the Sahara Desert also became more aggressive. They launched attacks and eventually captured the city of Timbuktu in the mid-15th century. The empire struggled to effectively defend its vast territory against these various enemies. Its armies were not always successful in repelling the invaders. Maintaining control over all its lands became increasingly difficult for the Mansas. The enormous size of the Mali Empire eventually became a problem for its rulers. It was a very large and diverse empire with many different ethnic groups and cultures. Communication across such a vast area was slow and difficult in those times. This made it hard for the central government to maintain control over distant provinces. Some regions on the edges of the empire began to break away and declare their independence. The Songhai people who lived in and around the city of Gao started to assert their own power. Gao was a very important city on the Niger River, and its loss was a major blow to Mali's strength and prestige. Economic problems also played a part in the decline of the Mali Empire. The patterns of trade began to shift. New goldfields were discovered in other parts of West Africa, further to the east. This discovery reduced Mali's near monopoly on the gold trade. The loss of key trading cities like Timbuktu and Gao meant a significant loss of trade revenue for the Mansas. Without this wealth, it was harder to maintain a strong army and a stable government. By the 16th century, the Mali Empire had lost much of its former power and influence. It gradually became a smaller and less important state. The once great empire was slowly fading into history. Section 9. Echoes Through Time. The Legacy of Mali. Although the Mali Empire eventually fell from power, its legacy remains very significant. It demonstrated to the world that a large, powerful, and well-organized state could exist and thrive in West Africa. The empire left a lasting and profound impact on the culture of the entire region. The fascinating stories of Sundiata Keita and Mansa Musa are still told today. These stories continue to inspire a sense of pride and a deep connection to history among people in West Africa. The many achievements of the Mali Empire are remembered and celebrated. It was truly a beacon of civilization in its time. The rich educational traditions that flourished in Timbuktu are a very important part of Mali's legacy. The thousands of manuscripts that were preserved in Timbuktu's libraries are a real treasure of human knowledge. These ancient texts cover a wide range of subjects, from science and mathematics to philosophy and law. They clearly show the impressive intellectual achievements of West African scholars during that period. Today, dedicated efforts are still being made to preserve and study these ancient manuscripts. They serve as a powerful reminder of Africa's rich and often overlooked scholarly past. This is a vital part of global heritage. The Mali Empire greatly influenced the development of later West African states. The Songhai Empire, for example, rose to power after Mali's decline. The Songhai adopted many of Mali's practices in government and administration. Malian traditions in areas such as law, trade, and military organization continued to shape the region. The Manding languages spoken by the founders of Mali spread widely throughout West Africa. The cultural and political structures that were established by the Mali Empire had a lasting and far-reaching effect. They helped to shape the future course of history for many West African societies. Today, the modern country of Mali proudly takes its name from this great historical empire. The legacy of the ancient Mali Empire helps to define the national identity of the country. The vibrant stories, the unique music, and the distinctive art forms that originated in the empire continue to thrive in the region. The history of the Mali Empire serves as a powerful reminder of a time of great African power, wealth, and cultural flourishing. Its remarkable story is a source of inspiration not only for Africa but for the entire world. It clearly shows the rich and diverse contributions of Africa to our shared global civilization. For more interesting contents like this, please subscribe, like, and comment for more. We bring African great histories.